Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us for what is a trip of a lifetime every time we go to Baja. My name is Cameron Steele, and I'm your host for the 2019 Monster Energy Trail of Missions presented by BFGoodrich. My dad started my love affair with Baja in the 70s, and seemingly since, I have been sharing this magical place as well as making an effort to give back. Baja is mysterious to most, but what we know is it's filled with some of the most epic missions, beaches, people, and off-road terrain in the world. We decided to create a trip where my friends and their families could experience the magic of Baja.
What was your favorite part, Lacey?
Going to Disneyland.
Oh, I missed that part.
Oh man, do we have a cast of characters on this year's trip. Let's go ahead and meet a few.
I'm Casey Curry, 35 years old, from Corona, California, and I'm a professional off-road racer.
Trail of Missions 2019 has begun.
I'm very big into desert racing. I race the King of the Hammers, the Mint, the Baja 1000, and my new big one is Dakar. Off-roading is something that my dad has done his whole life and my grandpa has done his whole life. So right now I'm third generation and my son is fourth.
But Casey is not the only rock crawling racer on this year's trip.
Hey, I'm Jason SCHERER. I'm from Danville, California, and I'm a 7-time off-road champion and a 3-time King of the Hammers winner. I started off as a rock crawler, and I won multiple rock crawling championships before I got into the Ultra 4 series, which is what King of the Hammers produced, and we've been there since the start.
We have a couple of industry leaders joining us as well, Steve Olagis and Cody Wagoner.
Cody Wagoner from San Clemente, California. I own Laser Nut. We're known for doing off-road parts throughout the off-road community.
Hi, Steve Olagis from Team Ford, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm involved in off-road racing since 1984.
Both of these guys bringing their families is what it's all about. But this next family is a group of people I was really excited to share with on this year's Trail of Missions.
Steve STROBEL here, Clarkson, Nebraska, down here on the 2019 Trail of Missions. Been racing for nearly 20 years now. My dad brought me down here in 1976 for the Baja 500. I've been hooked ever since. This year I brought my kids on the trip, Stephanie and Christian, to be a part of it. Generally are down here pre-running and getting ready for a race, so we didn't have the opportunities that we've had on Trail of Missions trip to go be able to see the different missions that normally you don't see during a race. So looking forward to taking in some of the surf for us flatlanders out in Nebraska.
Day one kicks off with us crossing the border in Tecate as we get ready to start our 9-day journey down the peninsula. Hold on, wait a second, who invited this guy?
My name's Ricky Braybeck, and I race motorcycles for HRC. I ride, dirt bikes in Baja often with Cameron Steele. I used to race down here. Now I just come down for pleasure and for adventuring with the whole Desert Assassins crew.
You probably recognize Ricky from our Trail of Missions Recon web episodes, being the funny guy.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
Mountains, goats, turds, tube, bikes, tequila. Cameron, we're more than just filming inside of our truck. We're doing TV cuts. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
And welcome back to the 2019 Trail of Missions.
Trail of Missions 2019, day 1.
Yeah, I guess it's okay if Ricky comes along for the ride. Day 1 is a pretty mellow and quick drive from the border to Horsepower Ranch. Along the way, we get to see some pretty epic views driving through Laguna HANSON, or as we call it, the Pine Forest. We don't want to burn too much daylight though, as family fun and bonding lie ahead. All right guys, we're gonna have competition. Who knows what this is?
When you meet up with a whole new group of people, I knew some of them, but most of the families didn't really know anybody, and I think that you got to find a way to connect everyone, and I couldn't believe when Cameron broke out potato sacks and said, hey, we're gonna get to Horsepower Ranch, and before we go into the bar and before we do all the cool stuff, we're gonna do a potato sack race.
So let's get all the kids over here that are 10 and under. They're gonna potato sack race. 1, 2, 3, go!
That was my first time meeting them, and so it's cool to just, make new friends and just hang out with a bunch of people that love doing what I love to do.
Hey, how about
it brought everybody together as a group, right? The kids all knew each other now, the adults were all hanging out with people, and you know, that opens it up and it kind of loosens it up.
For me, all the people that we meet on this trip, we continue their friendships well past from the first time we meet them. I was telling the story that, you know, I never met Jason Scherer, King of the Hammer champion, awesome driver, and I became friends with him immediately.
You know, there's just such incredible stories within this group of people. People in life that want to go do this sort of have a shared passion. And people with a lot of passion are a lot of fun to hang out with. So, you know, we found that right away within the group, and everybody got along great.
What an epic start to the 2019 Monster Energy Trail of Missions presented by BFGoodrich. If it's off-road driving you're looking for, stay tuned. The 2019 Trail of Missions on ABC brought to you by Monster Energy, BFGoodrich Tires, Method Race Wheels, and Baja HQ, sharing the stoke in your build. Before the break, we got to meet some of the stars of the trip, as well as ask everyone to participate in a potato sack race just to break the ice. Day 2, we head further down the peninsula, getting to enjoy some of the loose graded roads, but of course, someone always tries to have a little too much fun.
What happened? After our last photo op, Kim said, "Can I drive?" I said, "Yeah."
My name's Kurt LeDuc. I'm from East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, where I grew up, and moved to California 35 years ago to learn how to win the Baja 1000. It took me 7 years to win my first Baja 1000. Raised my family racing, and my kids are doing a great job now, so I'm enjoying my semi-retirement coming down here.
Kurt is an off-road racing icon. In 2015, he was inducted into the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame, but some part of me does not think he would classify this as any type of achievement. Thing is, he wasn't driving.
I guess I'm not a very good instructor.
Really? Really?
How far did you think you made it?
1 mile.
I think they're in a bad position right now. It looks steep on the other side, so it's glad that we're stopping and strapping and getting it back so we can get out of here safely.
Another day in paradise, all about the chase job right there, pulling people out, even LeDucs, even legends.
Nope, I'm taking the passenger seat. Thank you very much. I'll be riding shotgun.
Always glad that no one is hurt, and hope everyone learned their lesson. Baja is devious and can sneak up on you at any time. While everyone turns around and gets back en route, the main portion of the group is making their way to Rancho Santa Marta School and Orphanage. Wait, I'm hearing something else over the radio. Sounds like someone has gone off the trail again.
That's what you call a Godsmack right there. I was getting lectured. Woo!
ABS brakes are touchy. My Jeeps know better. You gotta be very careful. But he must have been going fast.
Not good.
I broke the knuckle.
With the trip being predominantly Raptors, our main concern is, do we have the parts to fit Kurt's Gen 2 F-150? If we can't source the parts, it looks like Kurt and Kimmy might have to find a ride with someone else. Well, I was just enjoying my pineapple popsicle. We need to recruit Helly, Jim, and Eric, and these are parts for a Gen 2 Raptor. It sounds like Kurt LeDuc maybe had an off-track excursion or just hit a washout, so we're gonna send parts back in the heli to see if we can repair it. You good with that? No drama? No drama.
Coming around the crease like, Kimmy, you just need to own it. I was like, I'm so embarrassed I did this, and then I'm like, watch out! Boom! I'm like the Dukes of Hazzard off the
Kurt went off the first time, and then Kurt went off the second time. Did he just want to show you how to drive, or what?
As I was getting lectured about my driving.
It's always a bummer when there's a chance that one of your buddies might need to be towed off the trail.
You know, Cameron has invited me along, and I feel like I add some color. And then when there is a problem, I'm the MacGyver. I'm the guy that can get it fixed, get it out to the road, get them into a town, get it to a guy that I know, have them rejoin the group. We've never sent anybody home. And that, to me, that's really what it's about. It's a little different size, but it tightened up, so I think it'll be okay to drive it out.
It's great news all around to hear that Kurt will make it out just fine. I'm thankful it was not in a place with little or no accessibility. Baja is vast, stretching over 27,000 square miles. It boasts some of the most epic canyons, beaches, and desolate cactus fields. But it's in this barren landscape that we find our happiness, our addiction, and our passion.
Halo Jim says, hey, I'd really like to see you run through this barn that's empty out in the middle of Baja nowhere. Checked it out. We at fairly high speed ran through the building completely and then off the back end of the building.
Roosting through the cactus fields is a group favorite. They go on seemingly for miles. But it's just one small piece of Baja's landscape. I know you're asking yourself, where could we be heading in such a desolate desert? Well, the first mission on the 2019 Trail of Missions, San Borja. We've made it to the San Borja mission. Everybody's excited about it. We're here, and of course, driving the truck is fun, but getting here and be able to soak in the history, hear a little bit about it, understand it, live it, feel it. And the family that's been hosting for years is just absolutely amazing, and it's great to be able to just jump into that little part of history, and we're stoked you guys were able to join us here. Take a look around, it's pretty spectacular.
All the missions just blow my mind because they're in the middle of nowhere. Like how they ever decided that this was going to be the spot that they built.
Came with my wife Elke, my son Nolan, and my daughter Allison. And for these kids to see how remote and how these people get by, I think it was pretty eye-opening for them to see that, not every place is like Colorado where we have snow in 4 seasons. Here it's a little tougher way of life.
He was just giving me a little lecture on the keystones.
So it's called the keystone, and it's the stone that holds all the arch together. Usually there's no concrete in them, and it's just held up there by pressure. If you look at a construction site today, it's light years ahead of what they had.
The kids are the best part of this for me. Each stop we make, they say, oh, can we just stay one more day here? Or then they get in the car, later that day and they start talking about what they saw on the mission.
The San Borja mission was finished in 1801, but the Adobe mission just behind it was built in 1762. The church was originally developed by the Jesuits, but just a handful of years later in 1768, they had been replaced by the Franciscans. It's great to see all the families enjoying the history of this great land. However, we can't spend too much time because I have a little surprise for the group as we head off to the secret beach.
Halfway through the trip, there's a bunch of chatter going on. Everybody's confused on what we're doing, but it turns out Ken Neal planned a proposal to Donna during this trip.
So for the last several weeks, I've been planning something. I've been planning on proposing to Donna down here because this is her favorite place as well. We basically had it all set up that we had to get her out of the truck and had to get her away from the beach. So we had Jim, the helicopter pilot, land and say, hey, I need to go get fuel. You want to go for a ride? And of course, she jumped right up and said, yeah, she wants to go for a ride. Way more fun than riding in the truck with me.
So we just finished riding it up on the beach. Will you marry me? Donna's going to fly in shortly. Ken's going to be here with the whole crew and get a big surprise.
He took her off, and then we all rushed to the beach, and we all got in position, got all set up, and she had no idea. I'm ready. I think everybody else is ready, too.
That's to die for.
We're about to get hitched. We're engaged, anyway. Hopefully. my wife.
I can't believe you did this.
I said yes.
I think all the women, I think I can speak for all of us and say that I think he wins the award for being most romantic.
Well, if we could all be so lucky to have a helicopter to, perform our engagement.
It was pretty spectacular, and I think anybody that sees this is going to, they're going to have to step up their game.
Did you have any idea?
No, none.
None whatsoever?
None.
Good.
I was
So I've managed to surprise you twice now.
You did.
Congratulations to them, and looking forward to the wedding.
Don't go anywhere. More trail emissions when we return. Welcome back to the 2019 Monster Energy Trail Emissions presented by BFGoodrich. What better way to celebrate the newly engaged than a little bit of silt? Right behind me, the Monster Jeep going through. This is Casey. You can see the silt bed. Now this is the notorious section, and take a look here. I mean, it's just like talc, so the local traffic doesn't go through here. They go on a side hardpack road. This is part of one of the Baja race courses, so just came over to take a look at it, but you can see it's pretty dastardly at times.
Yeah, it's 2 to 3 feet of like this crazy soft powder that once you get in, it starts blowing over the hood, and you just got to keep the momentum up and stay focused on staying straight. And like, it's that rush, we all live for that rush. And my kids are in the car and they think it's the most amazing thing ever, and my wife is having fun with it.
So the silt beds. Last year we watched it. We watched Casey Curry just dominate and get buried in it. This year he's like, let's do it. I've got extra air filters, we're going for it. And it was a little rutted out, but it was really, it was really cool. You're sitting in there and all of a sudden it's bright, bright, bright. Then all of the silt comes over the windshield and then it's just sand. And we did it, it was fun. Yeah,
I basically had my daughter completely stressed out in the silt bed. My wife was thinking I was making terrible decisions, but I let my son drive, and I never touched my hand to the wheel on the silt bed. So Action Jackson took the wheel, and if you've never been in a silt bed, it is a little bit like being on a rail, because once those tracks get burned in, you are basically going wherever the car is going to go through those things. So I put it in four-wheel drive, and I kind of maintain the throttle position a little bit for him. I mean, he's not quite tall enough to touch the gas yet, but he was in there just working the wheel and got all the way through it, and everybody was having a blast, and it was great.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pozo Alman. Cameron Steele and Jason Scherer here, and just for me, being able to share new places with people that haven't been there before. You can see the whole group here, but Jason, would you expected to come around and just see, like, this building right here is just really spectacular looking.
I know, it just blows your mind that all this stuff was built out here and the era in which it all happened. It's amazing.
Yeah, just taking a look at some of the relics, being able to stop along the peninsula, places that maybe some people don't go to, just to be able to share it and have fun with it. And I really dig seeing the kids run around. Are your kids having a good time?
My kids are having a blast, and they all get along and have a great time.
Like a kid in a candy store here. Check all this stuff out. It's ancient. It's a lot of history.
It's not ancient, but it's pretty cool, and it's really old.
The old tin couch.
We must have a flat screen over here.
Yeah.
This is actually where the very first flat screen was hung up.
The ghost town of Pozo Alman was a mining town in the late 1800s. Story has it that they discovered gold in the area and set their sights on mining it. The facility was active through at least 1910, and it's still an amazing sight to see. That's the heckling right there. Just trying to have fun with this stupid shoot, and these people want to give me a hard time, and I don't appreciate it at all. All I wanted to do was have a little fun and claim it, but the bottom line is trail missions is supposed to be fun, and I think the #1 most fun thing for most of these people is to heckle me. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go this way and sulk over there. All right, see ya. Well played. Let's go. Day 4 is full of history as we make our way up to a mission we have not been to in 4 years. Many people on this year's trip have never been there at all.
Here we are, GERTRUDIS mission. This is the 15th mission, and right now, as an eagle flies, it's 61 miles away from the nearest mission, which is actually the San Boris mission. Cut that out and fix that for me. We were here actually 5 years ago. The road was torn up and super gnarly to get in, and they've done a ton of work.
It just never really sat down and absorbed it, and it's pretty cool. The restoration they did, and the vault to ceiling just blows my mind.
I think what we learned is that there's some priests that came by here on the way through.
It's absolutely amazing out here. This is a beautiful mission.
Another tour of an awesome mission we're looking at here. Never been up in these parts, really enjoying it with the whole family. Looking forward to seeing more of this as we tour Baja.
Well, that's going to do it for the 15th mission on the El Camino Real. It's pretty cool to bring everybody up here. GERTRUDIS isn't a place we get to often because it's pretty far off the beaten path. Last time we were here, the road was so bad, I never wanted to come back, but this time it wasn't too bad. And we're going to do something really different. We're going to go up to Sierra de San Francisco up in the mountains, and we're going to see cave paintings that are carbon dated back 7,500 years, and we're actually going to do a town fiesta with all the people that live up there. So I hope to share a great time with you.
A couple highlights for me was when we went to San Francisco up there in the high country. I really, really appreciated that. To see that canyon down in there, that was really special.
You know, Baja it's sort of like a real raw version of life, and I think that's the beauty of it, is it puts you and everything else in your life in perspective.
You know, once you come down here and get a feel for it, you know, you really get that bug and you see the beauty of it, and it just draws you back here time after time.
Baja is a place where you actually find yourself, I think. When you're looking for that piece of your soul that you just haven't been able to put your finger on, you can find it down here.
The terrain, it's all different everywhere you go. It's so fun.
I've never been up here before.
Steve, you know why?
Just telling me.
You know why you've never been here, like
Why?
myself? Because it's not the fast way to La Paz.
No, I know, exactly. This is a little detour for sure, Kurt. I was trying to say to myself, would I rather be here or in Hawaii? I said, I'll take this all day long. I love this.
The first thing I thought is, who would ever live up here? I mean, it was 4,000 feet up in the middle of nowhere. So we got to this town, and there's 80 people that live there. I mean, it was really neat.
We're here up in San Francisco cooking for the town. It's been a wonderful day. Met a few great people. Now they get to eat.
All the people are in the town, they're all eating together. When we came up here for the pre-run, they asked us if we could get one thing for them, and that was a tent. We were like, sure, we'll get you a tent, but why? We're just kind of curious. And they said, well, when we go to the other cave paintings, we actually have a problem with rattlesnakes biting us, and so if we could get inside a tent, we'd be really safe. But not only did Cameron remember to bring the tent, but he also got them a cot so that they can sleep up off the ground. So I'm glad we could do something to give back to these people, and for them showing us all around, it's perfect.
It's an indescribable feeling being able to come out and break bread with the people from the town of Sierra de San Francisco. It's days like today that keep me coming back. And now that everyone is able to finish up their meal from AB Off the Grid Catering, it's time to head over to see some larger-than-life pictographs. That's pretty spectacular, huh? The overhang full of rock art, paintings from days gone by. I mean, the carbon dating that I've read about says 7,500 years. Here, the guys are saying over 10,000 years old. I mean, just think about that for a minute. In the history of the United States is just a couple hundred years. The history of the mission's a few hundred years. And it's spectacular to think about the history that we're walking into here. The locals are very gracious, and they've opened up their home to us to show us the art. And it's been a huge part of the experience, being able to travel Baja and get to know the people that live here and see where they live.
What I've learned from our guide, Manuel Arce, who's the 10th generation to live here, is the black is the night, and the red is life. And the puma is, at nighttime, becomes the puma, and the daytime it is the squirrel.
The good news is we got that information from Mr. Arce, so you don't have to trust Kurt's good word, the storyteller.
Pretty amazing that they're First elevated, probably 20 feet off the ground and upside down. Pretty cool though.
The fact that they maintain those ruins, they do the tours up there. Everybody has the local townspeople that are guides, and they try to preserve it so they're not letting people come in mass. Even though we're a small group, they're still taking us, send us, 10 people at a time to show us and explain to us what the history is there and why it's important.
Man, I love Baja. Don't go anywhere though, because more epicness is ahead on the 2019 Monster Energy Trail Missions presented by BFGoodrich Tires. Welcome back to the 2019 Monster Energy Trail Missions presented by BFGoodrich Tires. Giving back to the people of Baja, who let us share this beautiful place with them, is the trail mission's way. But it's time to get back out on the trail again in search of more Baja history. It's a short day for the odometer as we make our way south for Mulege, but first we decide to take a quick detour to an adobe ranchero off the beaten path, which has partially survived for decades. When I was here last in 13, we could walk in that end over there. This wall and that wall were all there. But there's been a couple huge seasons of hurricanes.
We were just talking about how it must have been to eke out an existence living here in this, pretty remote area. There's nothing really around it. Meager existence. It would have been a hard life for sure.
The fact of them living out here and surviving on that, of course, starting with, we just got to have the basic essentials of water.
Someone spent a lot of time putting in rocks for an aqueduct of some kind. I guess the water ran through here. Yeah, it's pretty wild that it's still here and we're able to enjoy it.
Fox 0.5 right here.
The Zorro.
The special part of Baja's beauty is her ruggedness. And with over 100 miles to go to our night's destination, it's time to get on the road and keep moving. With no distractions for endless miles, you can just settle into being a part of the serene beauty Baja has to offer. There's a certain mystique to this place, but the landscape only gets more rugged as we make our way into the center of the peninsula, and that's what keeps us off-road junkies coming back.
The water crossings down here, they make for good times. Just like anything, as soon as you can turn into a kid, if there's water and you're not racing and you know that you're not gonna get wet because your windows are up, it's full wide open, splash as high as you can, kids screaming.
Those guys all had a blast. They were hitting the water crossings hard. I chickened a little bit on the water crossings, and I still managed to suck the air filter into the air box. Luckily, I had a spare, so it was all good. I think it's time we chill out in the water crossings.
Dude, it's a total blast, but yes, at the same time, occasionally water goes in places it's not supposed to, but that's why you bring spare air filters.
On the water crossings, being that I had a bad experience last year and I had to switch cars, I was just hoping no one had any issues. I was that guy last year, I can't be that guy again.
This is the legend Kurt Leduc. The heli's lifting off over here. I think Kurt might be stuck.
Nobody expects him to make any mistakes. I mean, he's won so many championships and he's a really experienced driver. And then you start hearing things on the radio. We need help, somebody get a tow strap.
That's 3. I mean, that's gotta be the Donkey Award shoe-in at this point, right?
It's always a great day when you get to a water crossing and then you gotta pull Kurt Leduc out of the sand. It's awesome.
It was a good time watching and, let you know that we're all human and we all make mistakes.
Yep, it's that kind of day. You're following Baja legends, guys in the Baja Hall of Fame, and it's no joke. Whether you have great equipment, great vehicles, Baja surprises you.
It's a lot of driving, it's a lot of dirt roads, a lot of organization, and it's really hard on people, but it is definitely an experience to come down here.
If you ever do trail missions and you have a couple of kids, they're gonna ask, when are we gonna go to the beach? And after 5 days of when we're gonna go to the beach, we finally hit a beach and it was epic.
Here we are. A lot of us have been waiting for the beach day, and finally we got a couple extra hours to come out here and hang out at the beach and enjoy the water.
We went to this one beach, and it was a two-sided beach where it was kind of tucked away in this bay, and we decided to jump over to the other side, and it happened to be about 10 to 15 degrees warmer on just the other side of the beach. It was incredible.
And then we did the cliff jump over on the other side. That was really fun.
Every time you show up to a beach, you're the only person there. You're pulling up with this group of, 12, 15 raptors, showing up on a beach, and you're in your own private beach. It's like a commercial for a vacation getaway. Water's warm, kids are always having a good time playing around, and parents are sitting down and cooling off in the warm weather.
I feel that, Cameron does such a great job at diversifying the families. I mean, I think getting them down here and to see how desolate some of the areas are and just seeing some of the unique roads and to put it all together under one trip, it's amazing.
As we make our way south along the Sea of Cortez, we arrive at yet another breathtaking stop on our trip, the fourth mission founded on the Baja Peninsula known as Santa Rosalia de Mulege.
So there's something really special about coming into Mulege. I mean, from the second you start to pass into the town gates and you roll your windows down, you smell that tropical smell and almost like a floral fragrance to the air, like you're in Hawaii or something. And it's got this special feeling going on around it that isn't like maybe stuck in time, but the mission is. And it's like preserved, it's perfect. The view from all around on the top, you can see they had built it to see the water and see all around them in the valley. And the sunsets that come down behind that mountain just light that place up. It is so beautiful.
Yep, I nailed it.
Just in time to get here and check out this beautiful sunset across all the palm trees, and I don't know if it gets any better than this. This is perfect.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Baja magic to come. Welcome back to the 2019 Monster Energy Trail of Missions presented by BFGoodrich Tires. Day 5 ended in the epic oasis of Mulege, but now it's time for the Trail of Missions crew to make some dust as we venture off to a new location most racers have never seen. Tucked away up a dead-end valley with difficult access to the arroyo is a great ancient cave art site that has been dated back over 7,500 years. This is the first time Trail of Missions has visited this location.
Just to think how advanced people were 7,000 years ago, and it's hard for us to even imagine, but to think they live in the middle of nowhere, it's hard for us to get there, and a person like me who's a historian loves stuff like that.
Stepping stones.
Pretty epic sharing with the little ones. It's, Baja vibe, the stoke is alive and well. Well, we made the hike up the side of the mountain or through the canyon. It's pretty arduous, very warm out. Luckily, we were here early when it's shaded, but this is the San Borjita site. Carbon dated back 7,500 years, they say. And one fact for sure is it's an amazing site. Treat it with respect, and pretty amazing to share this with the entire group.
This is the best thing about coming down here. Cameron finds the greatest places for us all to come see.
Cave art, I really, really appreciated that. I just wouldn't have took the time to go and experience that.
Pretty amazing, to see how old this is and to see that it's still here and the paintings are still actually really visible is awesome.
I believe it was a black puma, they were saying in the Indian figure from 7,000 years ago, and how it's all blocked off in the rocks that they made the colors with, and I wish I could go back and kind of see it all happening.
I found it unique that two different areas of Baja, paintings generally similar to each other, that told me that they were communicating with each other, or something that I just found very interesting, that similarities, and yet they were 100 miles apart from each other.
7,500 years ago. Awesome. Everybody, just got done checking out the San Borjita cave paintings. It was a nice little morning hike. Now we're gonna head to Laredo for some good times and an epic night.
Visiting these magical places allows for moments in time to be frozen into our memories. When you are finally able to unplug from everything Baja can present beauty that is untouched and mind-boggling.
Certainly still the rugged outdoors, wild, wild west, however you want to call it, that you get to experience this down here that we in the States really don't have that opportunity to do.
What I love about Baja is just the variety that it has to offer. Most people think of it as just a desert, but the Sea of Cortez is beautiful. You come out of the desert and you breach over that first mountaintop and you see the color of the water. It's just a sight to be seen.
You just feel like you're somewhere far, far away from home, and just to pull up on the beach and open the doors and jump out and, you know, run straight into the water, it's pretty magical.
I'm gonna rank that as my favorite beach. Back in your truck right up to the water. Nobody else was on the beach. We had our, you know, trucks all parked there, and that was the most magical beach that I've been to.
Nice clear water, enjoying it. It's about 107 degrees outside right now, but in the water it's awesome.
Yeah, buddy, that's a wrap. Time to get back in the trucks, go eat some dust, but it's not a bad deal to get in a Raptor and go mob around the desert either.
Now that we've had a dip, it's time to continue our adventure into Baja Sur. Our next destination we call the Jewel of the Mission Trail. Its proper name is San Javier Mission. With 27 missions in Baja, this is definitely a crowd favorite.
We went to the San Javier mission. I really like that one just because it's way up in the mountains.
To me, the crazy part is you have to put yourself all the way back into the time zone, right? You have to look back and say, like, what was life like when, like, the Spanish conquistadors landed here? Then you look at what they built, and it's, like, unbelievable. I mean, they're the nicest buildings in all of Baja by, you know, a landslide amount. It's just, like, a totally incredible thing that they built these, especially in the time period that they did. And so you get like that historical side, and then you get the religious side, and you walk in and you feel something. Like right when you walk in, you're like, yeah, this is a place where a lot of people have, you know, worshipped, and there's a presence in there, and you're like, this is really cool.
I feel moved when I walk in these places. That mission we walked into San Javier that's kind of my sentimental favorite. It feels like that they built this, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and yet it feels like a functioning church still.
Obviously, to build such a structure, they needed a workforce. And so where we're walking now is where the early olive tree, supposedly the first one planted down here in Baja. So to build that, they needed this. Let's go check out this tree.
It was planted before the first mission site was founded here in 1699, but purportedly the oldest olive tree in the Americas. And very cool to be able to share it with everyone, including my daughter, who likes to come out and check it out every time we come by.
Oh, this is awesome. I have raced by here many times and never stopped here to look at the olive tree after all these years.
For Cameron to take the time, take the group up there and experience it, very cool.
That's pretty cool. Some rock art carved out of the volcanic rock up on the hills. This is a mini version of the San Javier mission. That's some talent right there.
Whoa, it looks exactly alike to that.
And you know, that's the cool thing about Baja. You've got such a variety of things to do and see. I mean, it's got something for everybody. You got this beautiful old mission. You got fantastic Baja-style roads and everything in between. So it's a pretty special place.
Leaving the mission, there are plenty of puddles to be smashed and lots of fun ahead. As my daughter says, smash it, Daddy! It's a great time as we travel through the Sierra de la Giganta mountain range and then out to the mangroves along the Pacific.
The reason I keep coming down to Baja on these trips is the people. It's the experience and seeing the reaction from new people. And it reminds you of kind of the very first time you saw a lot of these places. It pays for itself many thousand times over with the emotional experience you get.
Sharing the stoke of Baja is our #1 goal on Trail of Missions. Don't go anywhere. Just around the corner is the first European settlement in the Californias. The 2019 Trail of Missions on ABC, brought to you by Monster Energy, BFGoodrich Tires, Baja Designs, and Fox Racing Shocks.
You know, Cameron's like a human GPS for Baja California, so he's always going to take you someplace unique. Numerous Rip to Cabos, you're always on a spot like, I wish I could bring my family. And now, Trail of Missions, we're in some of these same spots going, this is a place I've told you guys about years ago that I wanted to bring you. So for me, that was a lifetime goal here with my family that was fulfilled, was seeing them surf there in Scorpion Bay.
It's really cool to see the family, kids playing on the beach, having a good time. We don't have to put a couple 100 miles in today. Actually just get relaxed, play in the sun, and enjoy the water and the sand.
Nebraska, represent.
The ultimate was to be over here at Scorpion Bay, out on catching some waves for us flatlanders.
There's always something new. You know, nothing is ever the same. Every year, every trip is an experience.
All the racing we do, it's always in a hurry, on a schedule, super crazy, don't really look around, but more so taking notes and getting the job done. And Trail of Missions, to me, is one of the most ultimate experiences for myself and for my family. The way Cameron does it is he really makes it where you can take a look around, go on roads that we don't race on, so we're closer to the beaches, we're closer to the missions. To me, it's surreal to be able to bring my family down here.
Just the way Cameron kind of lays out this Trail of Missions, that everybody seems to kind of know their job and follow along, and they just get with the program. So I'm really actually kind of amazed how well it works, but it works smooth every year I come down here.
The Trail of Missions has experienced some of the most spectacular mountains and beaches Baja has to offer. But now it's time for a different adventure to perhaps one of the most historically notable locations on the peninsula. Not easy to find, definitely not on a map, we explore the first Spanish settlement dating back over 330 years. Chasing history on the Trail of Missions, reportedly the oldest ruins in all the Californias right here. Taking the crew up there to take a look.
It was really the first, people that had come into Baja and tried to establish a command post, if you will.
So when the Spaniards came to colonize to build the Mission Trail, they actually went to La Paz first, and they were pushed back out of there by the locals. And they came in here in 1683, and so they started to build a fort and mission site. And as they were doing it, they realized there wasn't enough water. I mean, this is OG. This is the first time that they built anything here on the Baja Peninsula, right here on these rocks that you're standing on.
Pretty crazy to think that they built something that's last all those years, because we go through other towns and you see one hurricane come through and the town's flattened.
The ruins are obviously ruined. I mean, it's not much to see, but it's got a huge historical significance. They didn't make it, right? They were taken over with, diseases and from the water quality and all these different things that kicked them back out. And it shows you how harsh Baja can be, right?
You just think about how brave, the people before us were and what they did. That part's amazing. We just drove in with air conditioning, so.
I couldn't imagine. We're so fortunate to have what we have, and do 1,300 miles in 6 days is pretty lucky.
Crazy to think about, right? 336 years ago, this was established, and it's easy to see the missions, but something like this is very tough. And as I always say, have a good plan, plenty of hydration. This is a very extreme, desolate location. And although interesting, you definitely tread lightly and come prepared. Well, it seems like we've always got to end the Trail of Missions on an epic heli shot, and we're super stoked to have shared the Baja Peninsula with all of our friends here and everybody watching at home. That's a wrap on the 2019 Monster Energy Trail of Missions presented by BFGoodrich. Sometimes it's a giant mission, sometimes it's a beautiful beach, sometimes it's cave paintings. Right now we ended it from reportedly the oldest ruins in all of the Californias. We're stoked to have shared the Baja Peninsula with you. We hope you had fun watching. We'll catch you next year. Woo! another epic adventure down the Baja Peninsula comes to a close. We're so grateful to the people of Baja who always welcome us with open arms and a great wave most everywhere we travel on the peninsula. As always, it's a trip of a lifetime every time. For more on the Desert Assassins, find us on social media.